Gentlemen, let me start with a question that may sting a little. Why do you think you can't stay focused anymore? Why do you feel fired up one day and completely drained the next? Why does satisfaction slip through your fingers no matter how hard you try? The answer isn't weakness. It isn't age. It's dopamine, the single most powerful chemical steering your drive, your concentration, and your sense of fulfillment. Welcome to Max Life, man. I'm Dr. Sterling Thorne, and together with my team at the Evergreen Peaks Institute, we've spent decades digging into the science of men's health. And tonight, I'm here not to drown you in theory, but to give you a truth you can use right now. Here's the shock. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical you've been told about. It's not just the high from a win or the rush from a reward. Neuroscientists like Dr. Andrew Huberman at Stanford's Huberman Lab have shown us something deeper. Dopamine is about pursuit. It's the hidden engine that gets you out of bed, pushes you through the grind, and makes victories feel worth chasing. Without it, even the smallest task feels impossible. With it, you can move mountains. But here's the trap. The modern world is stealing your dopamine. Social media, fast food, endless scrolling, they drip-feed your brain just enough stimulation to keep you hooked, but never enough to leave you satisfied. You burn through your brain's fuel chasing empty hits, and then you wake up wondering, why can't I stay motivated anymore? Now let me stop here because I need you to do something small but powerful. Hit that like button, not for me, for you. Because every man who takes that tiny action is making a declaration. I choose to engage, I choose to grow, and I'll tell you something I've seen again and again. Men who take that step, who choose to act even in the smallest way, often feel something shift. Call it momentum, call it faith, call it the laws of the universe. But I believe this. If you hit like right now, I wish upon you health, energy, joy, and courage. May the universe bring you exactly what your heart has been waiting for. So let's make this real. Tell me in the comments, have you felt that roller coaster before? Fired up one day, drained the next. Type a simple yes or no. Because when we're honest about where we stand, that's when change begins. Stay with me, because in just a moment, you'll see how dopamine works inside your brain. And once you understand that, you'll never look at motivation the same way again. The dopamine trap of modern life. Let me tell you about Robert, a 62-year-old from Ohio. He left a comment under one of our videos. Doc, I told myself I'd check YouTube for 10 minutes after dinner, but suddenly 2 hours were gone. I didn't even enjoy half the videos. What's wrong with me? Robert, nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken. What's happening is that your dopamine system, an ancient engine designed to reward survival behaviors like hunting, building, connecting, has been hijacked. Stanford neuroscientists like Dr. Andrew Huberman explain this as intermittent reward scheduling. It's the same trick casinos use with slot machines. A notification here, a like there, a random video suggestion. Each one gives you a little squirt of dopamine. Not enough to satisfy, just enough to keep you chasing the next hit. Harvard Health Publishing in 2022 warned that social media is literally rewiring the reward pathways in our brains. Instead of saving dopamine for meaningful rewards, like completing a project, building a relationship, or achieving a goal, our brains are being trained to spend it on meaningless microbursts. And here's the cruel part. Every spike is followed by a crash. The bigger the spike, the deeper the dip. That's why Robert lost 2 hours and felt worse afterward. That's why you sometimes wake up drained even if you slept a full night. So let me turn the question back to you. Have you ever picked up your phone to just check a message, and 30 minutes vanished into scrolling? If that's ever happened, drop a yes in the comments. Don't be shy. You're not alone. Gentlemen, this isn't about weakness. It's about wiring. What dopamine and if you don't really learn how to steer your dopamine system, plus the world will do it for you. Gentlemen, let's pull back the curtain on a myth. You've been told dopamine is the pleasure chemical. Sounds catchy, right? You eat chocolate, dopamine spikes. You win a game, dopamine spikes. You swipe your phone and see a like, boom, dopamine. But neuroscience says that's way too simple. In fact, it's misleading. In 2016, Nature Neuroscience published a landmark study that flipped this old idea on its head. They found dopamine doesn't actually peak when you receive the reward. It peaks when you anticipate it. In plain English, dopamine isn't the high five after the touchdown, it's the electricity you feel when you're running toward the end zone. Think about that for a second. It means your brain's real surge of energy isn't when you eat the cake, but when you're looking forward to it. Not when you finally sit on the beach in Mexico, but when you're planning the trip, booking the tickets, daydreaming at your desk. Let me read you a comment from one of our listeners. David, 39, wrote, "Doc, I spend weeks dreaming about buying a new car. I read reviews, I scroll pictures, I imagine myself driving it. But the moment I bought it, the joy faded in like a week. Why? David, that's dopamine. The chase is where the fire lives. The catch fades fast." The Journal of Neuroscience has another metaphor. Dopamine is your brain's fuel gauge. When dopamine levels are high, your system signals you've got gas in the tank, floor it. That's when you feel focus, drive, energy. But when dopamine is depleted, the gauge is empty. You can press the pedal all you want, but nothing happens. Let me paint an image for you. Imagine your brain as a car. You might have a Ferrari, sharp body, powerful engine, best tires. You might even have a full tank of fuel, good sleep, solid diet, no injuries. But without a spark plug, the engine won't turn over. That spark plug is dopamine. With it, the same Ferrari roars. Without it, even a beat-up old sedan will pass you on the road. So when motivation feels random, it's not your personality failing. It's not discipline evaporating. It's not that you've lost your mojo. It's your dopamine system either firing or failing to fire. And let me tell you, when you understand this, you stop hating yourself for inconsistency. You stop labeling yourself as lazy, and you start seeing the real battlefield, your brain chemistry. Why you feel motivated one day, drained the next, expanded cycle plus proof. Gentlemen, let me ask you something raw. Have you ever had this split reality? One day you're unstoppable. You crush the gym, you dominate at work, you're present with your family, you're Superman. The next day you can't even drag yourself out of bed. Coffee feels like glue, your focus shatters, you're snapping at your kids, you're scrolling instead of building. If that roller coaster is real for you, type YES in the comments right now. If you're one of the rare men who never rides it, type no. I want to see how many of us are living this cycle. This isn't random. This is the dopamine cycle. Here's the cold truth. Every spike of dopamine is followed by a dip below baseline. That's the biology. JAMA Psychiatry confirmed this in their research on reward systems. The higher the stimulation, the lower the crash afterwards. The brain always rebalances. The more you push the system up, the further it swings down. Harvard Medical School reviewed digital addiction in 2021 and found the same cycle in people hooked on screens. Binge stimulation one day, right arrow fatigue, brain fog, irritability the next. Let me use an analogy. It's like using a credit card. You swipe and feel rich in the moment, but the bill always comes, and it comes with interest. So when you binge Netflix, gorge junk food, or scroll TikTok for 2 hours, you're not enjoying free dopamine. You're borrowing it from tomorrow, and tomorrow always collects. I had a man write in last month. His name's Carl, 44, entrepreneur. He said, "Doc, I can sprint like a beast. One day I work 14 hours, crank out a huge deal, feel like a king. But then I crash. I'll go 2 days barely functioning. My wife says I'm like 2 different people. What's happening to me?" Carl, what's happening is dopamine debt. You're living off spikes, and every spike burns your baseline lower. This is why so many men say, "Doc, I had one amazing workout, then didn't step back in the gym for a week." Or, "I crushed a massive project, then I lost all momentum." It's not a lack of discipline. It's neurochemistry swinging like a pendulum. High today, empty tomorrow. And here's the kicker. Modern life is designed to exploit this cycle. Every app, every platform, every next episode button is pulling your dopamine strings like a puppet master. But here's the empowering part. Once you see this cycle for what it is, not personal failure, but predictable biology, you can manage it. You can stop being a puppet. And when you manage it, you stop living on random highs and crushing lows. You start steering. Minnesota and blessing insert. Before we move into the reset button, let me pause and ask something simple. If any of this is hitting home for you, do one thing, tap like right now. Not for me, for you. Because when you act, you're already reclaiming agency. And here's my blessing. May every man who taps like today find steadier energy tomorrow, sharper focus this week, and more joy than expected. Try it, you might just feel the shift. What dopamine really does in your brain, expanded science plus storytelling. Gentlemen, let's pull back the curtain on a myth. You've been told dopamine is the pleasure chemical. Sounds catchy, right? You eat chocolate, dopamine spikes. You win a game, dopamine spikes. You swipe your phone and see a like, boom, dopamine. But neuroscience says that's way too simple. In fact, it's misleading. In 2016, Nature Neuroscience published a landmark study that flipped this old idea on its head. They found dopamine doesn't actually peak when you receive the reward. It peaks when you anticipate it. In plain English, dopamine isn't the high five after the touchdown, it's the electricity you feel when you're running toward the end zone. Think about that for a second. It means your brain's real surge of energy isn't when you eat the cake, but when you're looking forward to it. Not when you finally sit on the beach in Mexico, but when you're planning the trip, booking the tickets, daydreaming at your desk. Let me read you a comment from one of our listeners. David, 39, wrote, "Doc, I spend weeks dreaming about buying a new car. I read reviews, I scroll pictures, I imagine myself driving it. But the moment I bought it, the joy faded in like a week. Why? David, that's dopamine. The chase is where the fire lives. The catch fades fast." The Journal of Neuroscience has another metaphor. Dopamine is your brain's fuel gauge. When dopamine levels are high, your system signals you've got gas in the tank, floor it. That's when you feel focus, drive, energy. But when dopamine is depleted, the gauge is empty. You can press the pedal all you want, but nothing happens. Let me paint an image for you. Imagine your brain as a car. You might have a Ferrari, sharp body, powerful engine, best tires. You might even have a full tank of fuel, good sleep, solid diet, no injuries. But without a spark plug, the engine won't turn over. That spark plug is dopamine. With it, the same Ferrari roars. Without it, even a beat-up old sedan will pass you on the road. So when motivation feels random, it's not your personality failing. It's not discipline evaporating. It's not that you've lost your mojo. It's your dopamine system either firing or failing to fire. And let me tell you, when you understand this, you stop hating yourself for inconsistency. You stop labeling yourself as lazy, and you start seeing the real battlefield, your brain chemistry. The reset button, how to reclaim dopamine naturally. Let me share with you a message that came into my inbox last month. Thomas, 58, from Arizona, wrote this. "Doc, I thought motivation was gone for good at my age. I was tired, distracted, reaching for sugar and coffee just to get through the day. But after listening to your podcast, I decided to try something you mentioned, walking outside at sunrise just 15 minutes every morning. At first, it felt like a waste of time, but after 2 weeks, something changed. I noticed I was more focused at work. I didn't crave junk food as much. I finally had the energy to finish a home project I'd been avoiding for months. Is it really possible that something this small is rewiring my brain?" Thomas, the answer is a resounding yes, and neuroscience proves it. At Stanford Medicine, researchers have shown that morning sunlight exposure is one of the most powerful natural levers you can pull to reset your dopamine system. Why? Because when light hits your retina, it doesn't just wake up your vision. It sends a cascade of signals to your hypothalamus, the master clock of your brain. That clock regulates your circadian rhythm, the rhythm that governs sleep, hormones, metabolism, and yes, dopamine release across the day. That's why men who step outside within the first hour of sunrise consistently report steadier energy, sharper focus, and fewer mood crashes. Dr. Andrew Huberman himself emphasizes, even on cloudy days, the brightness of outdoor light is dozens of times stronger than any indoor bulb. It's like flipping the brain's reset switch. But light is only the first part of the reset. Movement matters just as much. The American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine published evidence that aerobic movement in the morning, like brisk walking, improves dopamine receptor sensitivity. That means your brain doesn't just make dopamine, it actually becomes better at using it. Like improving your phone's signal strength, it's the same network, but suddenly everything is clearer. Breathing is the third lever. Studies in the Journal of Psychophysiology show that slow, intentional breathing lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that drains dopamine. By managing breath, long inhales, longer exhales, you're patching the leaks in your dopamine tank. Let me turn this into something practical right now. Gentlemen, here's your reset formula. Light. Go outside within an hour of waking. Even on a cloudy day, natural light is powerful medicine. Movement, walk, stretch, push-ups, a light jog, anything to prime the brain-body connection. Breath, use slow, intentional breathing while moving. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Feel stress leave your body. That's the reset button, not expensive, not hidden, not complicated. Gentlemen, here's my challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, go outside for 10 minutes. Just 10. Then come back here and leave a comment. Did you notice a difference? Even a subtle shift, more focus, more clarity, less craving. Because sometimes, as Thomas discovered, the smallest habits unlock the biggest transformations. And I'll say this with conviction, no pill, no miracle supplement. No $5,000 biohacking device will ever outperform the basics of light, movement, and breath. Tools to train dopamine like a muscle. Resetting is just the first battle. Training is how you win the war. Dopamine isn't static. It's plastic. It adapts, it strengthens, it weakens depending on how you live. If you train it like a muscle, it becomes steady, powerful, reliable. If you neglect it, it flickers, fades, betrays you when you need it most. So how do we train it? Neuroscience gives us 4 battle-tested tools. Tool 1, delayed gratification, stretching the bowstring. Most men chase quick hits, fast food, instant messages, same-day delivery. But every quick hit teaches your brain to expect easy rewards, and that weakens dopamine. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience described reward prediction error. The longer you wait for a reward, the more powerful the dopamine surge when you finally get it. Think of it like stretching a bowstring. The tension builds, the neurons fire stronger, and when you finally release, the arrow flies farther. Try it. Save your dessert until the end of dinner. Don't check your phone until after your workout. Don't open a package until you've completed your day's top task. Notice how much more satisfying it feels. Tool 2, effort training, making the brain respect work. Your brain is wired to reward effort. The harder the climb, the sweeter the dopamine at the peak. Neuroscientists call this effort-based dopamine release. Park further from the store. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Add an extra set in the gym. These micro-struggles train your brain to expect and love the payoff after effort. One of our listeners, Mark, 35, wrote, "Doc, I started making myself carry groceries up 3 flights instead of using the elevator. It sounds stupid, but weirdly I felt proud, even energized. My wife laughed, but I swear my brain lit up." That's not stupid, Mark. That's dopamine being trained like a loyal dog. The more you feed it effort, the more it responds. Dopamine fasting, resetting the sensitivity. Now, let's clear a misconception. Dopamine fasting isn't about living like a monk or punishing yourself. It's about cutting out cheap spikes long enough for your brain to recalibrate. Skip the junk food for a day. Log off social media for 24 hours. Say no to mindless binging. At first, life feels flat, boring, but within hours, something shifts. Colors feel brighter. Conversations feel deeper. A simple walk feels good again. Why? Because your brain's baseline resets. Instead of needing extreme stimulation, your dopamine system learns to appreciate the natural. Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that even short-term abstinence improves dopamine receptor sensitivity. It's like cleaning a dirty lens. Suddenly the world is sharp again. Reframing rewards loving the process. Here's the secret sauce most men miss. If you only allow yourself to feel good at the finish line, you'll burn out. But if you can feel good during the race, dopamine becomes sustainable. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience showed that people who reframed effort as rewarding maintained higher dopamine activity. They weren't waiting for the trophy to feel good, they loved the training itself. So instead of thinking, I'll be happy once I lose 20 pounds, think, I enjoy the burn of this workout, the sweat, the discipline. Instead of I'll relax once I finish this project, think, I'm proud of every step, every page I complete. This shift transforms life from an endless chase to a journey you actually enjoy. From science to real life, stories of change. Gentlemen, science is powerful, but stories change hearts. So let me share with you some real voices from our community. The other day, under one of our videos, I saw this comment. Doc, I'm 63, be honest, can someone my age really reset dopamine, or is this only for young guys? First, let me say this directly, yes. Absolutely yes, your brain is not done growing. Neuroscience has proven that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt, lasts well into old age. The Journal of Gerontology has published multiple studies showing men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s can reshape dopamine pathways through simple lifestyle changes, exercise, light exposure, continuous learning. Let me give you a few stories. John, 61, the retired firefighter. Years of night shifts left him drained. He thought fatigue was his new normal. Then he began one simple habit. Every afternoon, he took a 20-minute brisk walk. No phone, no headphones. Within 3 months, not only did his mood stabilize, but his wife said, "You're smiling more than you have in years." His dopamine system wasn't gone, it was waiting for rhythm. Marcus, 70, the engineer. For decades, he spent late nights glued to screens. He decided to swap 1 hour of iPad time for journaling and stretching before bed. After 6 weeks, his sleep deepened. He reported waking up with a hunger to build something new each day. The Journal of Gerontology confirms this. Reducing overstimulation restores baseline dopamine, especially in older adults. Peter, 58, the rebuilder. He combined morning sunlight with resistance training 3 times a week. After 2 months, he wrote, "Doc, I don't just feel motivated again, I feel alive. My focus at work is sharper than when I was 40. Gentlemen, these aren't miracles. These are biology in action. When you give dopamine the right environment, light, effort, rest, it responds. At any age. So let me ask you, if you're over 55, drop your age in the comments. Say it proudly. Let's show the younger men watching that drive and motivation are not reserved for youth. They belong to anyone who chooses to reclaim them. And to the younger men listening, these older warriors are proof that your best days aren't behind you. They are proof that discipline plus biology can rewrite the script at any stage of life. The final word plus call to action. Gentlemen, today we've taken a journey. We started with the roller coaster, the highs and lows we all feel. We exposed how modern life hijacks dopamine, leaving us tired, distracted, hungry for more, but never satisfied. We dove into the science, how dopamine is not the pleasure chemical, but the anticipation chemical. How it fuels the chase, not the trophy. How every spike is followed by a dip, and how cycles of overstimulation leave us drained. We explored the reset button, light, movement, breath, and the training tools, delay gratification, embrace effort, fast, cheap spikes, reframe rewards. And we saw the stories. Real men, real change, at 35, at 58, at 70. Proof that your dopamine system is not broken, it's just waiting for you to take back the wheel. So here's the truth I want to leave with you. You are not lazy, you are not weak. You are not past your prime. Your brain is simply following patterns. And the moment you change those patterns, your life changes.